Hey everybody! I'm here today to talk to you about a fruit tree that is not growing. I'll specifically be showing you and telling you how to get it to grow better and faster in this very simplistic tutorial. So let's get right into this video instructional tutorial. Let's say you have a fruit tree like this and it's not growing, or even if it's a small fruit tree. I'm assuming you're talking about a small fruit tree, but this is my cherry tree in my backyard. If it's not growing, these are basically 5 things that you can do to hopefully get it to grow. So let's get right into this. And just so you know, cherry trees, because my grandmother had one, my nonna, I'm Italian, so my nonna had one. So I kind of grew up with it my whole life. She lived close by. She lived a few streets away from my parents, so I would go there all the time. I'm sorry, I might be getting a little bit emotional as I talk about this, so I'm gonna try and get through this. She lived a few streets away from my parents, so I would always go there and pick the cherries. And some years the cherries just didn't flower; they just didn't happen. And this year, it was the first year since we've owned this house and we've owned it for this will be 3.5 years. So I think this is the 4th summer that it hasn't gotten any cherries. Right. So I did a little bit more research into why this happens, and it does happen from time to time. And essentially, I learned how to get fruit trees to grow if they're not growing in the process. So let's get into this. Number 1 is to water it every single day. So that's right. If your fruit tree is not growing, it could be because it's not getting enough water. Now, something like this doesn't need to be watered, but obviously a younger fruit tree, a smaller fruit tree would need to be watered. So water it every single day, okay? You don't have to soak it, but definitely want to get at least just a little bit of water, and water it every single day on a daily basis. Number 2, watering it and you should do all of these really together, to be honest with you, but definitely you're going to try one at a time, but all of them together would work better. The more that you try, the better off you'll be. Number 2 is to add some mulch or compost at the bottom of the fruit tree. So down here at the bottom of the fruit tree, you want to add some mulch or compost. Essentially, what that's going to do is that's going to allow it to retain the water. So when you're watering it, instead of the water dispersing around, that mulch and compost will keep the water there and will just not sporadically, but periodically get water down there and moisture into the roots, so it doesn't all drain away at once. Very, very useful for a younger tree. Something like this doesn't really need it. I mean, I should clean this up, but something like this doesn't really need it. But yeah, definitely good to add some mulch or compost at the bottom around the trunk of the tree. Number 3 is to get rid of grass and weeds around it. So like I said, if you look over there, that's a different fruit tree. That is an apricot tree. And if you look over there, I put a little bit of mulch and compost. Sorry, there's a spider web on my glasses that I keep seeing. I put some mulch and compost around there, just mulch, not compost, but I put mulch around there, and I got rid of all the weeds and the grass around there. And believe it or not, that tree, the neighbors said, hadn't had fruit in many years. And as soon as I did that, it got fruit the next year. I don't know if that was a coincidence, but it definitely helped. Now, obviously, you can see there are some weeds growing out of there. I got to clean it up, but compared to being surrounded by grass and weeds, that's a big upgrade. Okay, very, very simple. And you're getting a little view of my backyard in this video, so hey, lucky you. I don't really show much of my house other than specific rooms that I film in, but now you're getting a little bit of a view. All right, so and we just had my kids, two of my kids. I have twins. I have 4 young kids, and the twins were the youngest. We just had their birthday party, so there's still stuff like sports balls and stuff lying around. We had a backyard party. Anyways, but by the time you see this fun fact, it's going to be a year later. I'm filming this in September of 2023, but I schedule my stuff out so far in advance, so you're probably going to see this in like October or November of 2024. So just so you know, pretty fun fact there. Anyways, get rid of the grass and weeds around it, because they're going to take the nutrients from the tree, and you want that tree to get all of the nutrients that it can get that you're trying to give to it. Okay. Number 4 is to cut off any dead branches. Now, if you take a look up here, sorry about that. You can see all these branches have leaves and stuff like that, but there's these 2 branches. I'm trying to see where I'm pointing. Here we go. There's these 2 branches over here. There's one right there, and then one over here basically, and they're dead branches. They don't have any leaves on them. I have to cut them off because they are sort of like robbing the tree of its nutrients. So yeah, cut off any dead branches, because they will take the nutrients away from the tree when it's the tree itself that needs it. Like the growing branches need the nutrients, not the dead branches. Okay. And last but not least is number 5, which is there might be insufficient underground area for the roots to grow and flourish. And if that's the case, then you might have to move it. Now, this is a rare situation, but maybe you planted it like where there's concrete everywhere around it, and that's going to be hard for the fruit tree to grow properly. So you can see right here, this is actually my, I call it the cantina. It's a cellar, this whole thing, believe it or not, this is a big cellar we have. Big underground cellar underneath here. Sorry, I hear something. Sounds like it's something on the roof. That's like it's sounds like a woodpecker. To be honest with you, it definitely is. I hear a woodpecker. I know there's one in the area, so I'm gonna go and see what's going on after. but I can hear it. It might just be on the tree, which is totally fine. I'm gonna make sure it's not pecking at my windows because I was before. Anyways, that's the cellar right there, but you can see there's like a solid, like maybe 7 feet, give or take, from the cellar to where the trunk is. So there's sufficient area for the roots to grow, but it might just be too close. Oh, there it is, I see it, it's up in the tree. Look, I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna try and point to it. It's literally right there, and it's just pecking. I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to see it, but it's just pecking away at the tree, which is totally fine. The good thing is, and I won't go into too much detail, my house backs onto like a big open green area. I won't say, you know, I don't want to give out too many details, but like I get lots of like cardinals and like robins and chipmunks, and you know, so ironically enough, I'm the meme of like, didn't you steal the chipmunks? And I get like, you know, I see like 50 chipmunks a day running through the backyard with their, you know, all their food and stuff like that, with their nuts that they've gathered. Anyways, that's a whole separate video. But anyways, if your fruit tree is not growing, those are essentially 5 things that you can do, 5 problems and things that you can do to hopefully get it to grow. Yeah, and hopefully it works for you to get your fruit tree to grow a little bit better than before and faster than before. And you can recover it and hopefully get some fruit, like I said, because we didn't get apricots. And all of a sudden, I started cleaning this tree up a little bit, and then we got apricots. But we didn't get them this year either, which is weird. We did get them for a couple years, but we didn't get them this year. Very interesting. Anyways, no cherries, no apricots this year. So I don't know what's going on, but anyways, if you like this video tutorial, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.